What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video in the next episode of the MotoGP 25 career mode for part number 5 today, the Spanish Grand Prix at Jerez. We are back with the MotoGP career mode after taking some time away to go to the British Grand Prix for the Tissot Grand Prix of the United Kingdom. And yeah, we're not going to talk about the outcome of that with Quartararo, but it is what it is. It was a great weekend, but we're back to it here in the virtual version of the MotoGP season for round number 5 at the Spanish Grand Prix. So far, though, we've had 2 podiums throughout this season, a 3rd place at Argentina and a 3rd place in America. We're coming into this round off the back of a bit more difficult Grand Prix in Qatar, a 7th place in that race. Just kind of not, we just lacked a little bit of pace. So they are 10th here and there, really just to be able to battle at the front of the field. But we were kind of in amongst the group, but we just couldn't work our way forwards to the likes of Munoz and people like that who were battling at the front. However, we start the European leg of the season at the iconic Circuito de Jerez, an absolute classic, an absolute gem of a circuit on the MotoGP calendar. It's been one of my favourites for a long time, so I'm hoping that we can have a good result here this weekend. But yeah, we're just going to try and figure our way around this circuit, just kind of get to grips with everything on the Moto3 bike, and as always try and find that little bit of a setting for the race on Sunday. So we'll just work through a couple of laps in practice using the soft front and the medium rear, and as you can see straight away having a moment down at the Michelin hairpin for turn number 2. And choosing the safer route of heading through the gravel, and we'll try again next time with just over 28.5 minutes remaining on the clock. So at the final corner, get the power down and we will see what we can do. We need obviously try and get a good result. We are yet to take a victory in this career mode. We're yet to get a result higher than 3rd, as you saw at the start. So maybe this weekend, the first weekend in Europe at the Jerez circuit, might be our weekend to get that maiden victory that is eluding us at the opening 4 rounds of the season. But we'll have to wait and see. It's not going to be easy. I'm pretty sure we're going to have a scrap on our hands throughout, because we've had a lot of different riders running at the front of the Moto3 races so far in this career mode. The AI and the other riders seem a little bit inconsistent with the results. We've had crashes for a few key riders, like Adrian Fernandez last time out in Qatar at the final corner, going down after a little, well, he didn't even have contact, did he? He lost the front, and Rueda, I think it was so lucky not to get collected by the Leopard bike. And we've just been chipping away. We've had a 4th, a 3rd, a 3rd, a 7th. The 7th obviously being the last time out in Qatar and the worst race of the season for us to date. But it's all important points, and at this stage of the season, if we can just continue banging points every round and keeping our name in that kind of top 3, top 4 of the championship, and then really look to pile the pressure on and turn the burners on in that last kind of quarter of the season, then we should be in a pretty good position come the finale at Valencia later on in the season. But as you can see on practice, we've got our first banker lap in, 45.0, nothing too special, and now we've kind of ended up locked in a bit of a battle with Angel Piqueras, this is, and Jose Antonio Rueda, 2 riders as we knock Piqueras out of the way a little bit there, so apologies to him, but 2 riders who I think will be a threat in this Spanish Grand Prix. We've managed to come out, they came out of the pits, and we've managed to lock onto these 2 guys and have a little bit of a scrap, really, just to try and suss out how they're doing, where they might be stronger than me, where there's areas that I'm better than them. All little bits of information that will help going into the race, that will allow me to just have a little upper hand on them come Sunday's Grand Prix. But as you can see, a few key areas that we are a little bit weaker on. The left-handers here at turns 7 and 8, and then maybe the entrance to this right-hander. They kind of always seem to run in a little bit wider, and then that allows them to close up through this second right-hander, as Piqueras demonstrates right on cue. And Rueda is able to just open up a little bit of a gap, but it does give us a little marker to chase through this final sector, but just extending at turn 11, and we invalidate the lap. A lap later, Rueda comes into the pits with a huge wobble going into the pit lane there, so a little bit of a weird behaviour there from Jose Antonio Rueda. However, We have jumped into the 44s. It's a 44.9 that we've got so far, and that lap there, much better into 11th, into the all-important top 14, a 44.4, and that was on pretty used tyres really. We did 6 laps on the medium rear tyre, and the pace at the end got better and better, so yeah, bit promising information really for us going into Sunday, knowing that as the tyre drops off, the pace is still quite strong. So even though we're only down in P15 at the minute as it stands with just over 2 minutes to go, we are feeling, I'm feeling confident for the race already. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. If we could just do 44s in the race, we'll be thereabouts, I think, as the AI now start their kind of soft tyre runs. It's Rueda at the top, 43.8. Piquera second, who we were obviously scrapping with, and then Adrian Fernandez, Munoz and Perrone rounding out the top 5. We're going to move ourselves up into the top 5 as well, 20 thousandths away from David Munoz, and just under 3/10 adrift of Rueda's top time, with 31 seconds remaining on the clock. So all in all, a good session. We had a bit of a good rhythm throughout the first run, and then the soft tyre run, the first lap, and the only lap that we're going to get as we run wide at the exit of Sito Pons corner, puts us inside the top 5 and just under 3/10 adrift of Rueda's top time. So all in all, pretty good. We've got good pace over a race distance, it seems, and we have decent pace over 1 lap as well. And obviously once we're in the midst of the battle, we'll get dragged along a little bit as well, and as the other riders fight, we're going to be able to be thereabouts come lights out on Sunday. So moving on to qualifying here at the Circuito de Jerez. Q2, we're joined by Max Quiles, Jacob Rolstone, Guido Pini on the Dynavolt bike, and Taio Fosato, who's been a front runner throughout this series. Not had much luck go his way though. Instantly think back to the crash at Argentina, and then the crashes at Kota as well, whilst running at the front. But as you can see, 7 minutes on the clock, we get a very poor exit out of the final corner, just lighting up the rear tyre as we applied the throttle, which is going to hold us back a little bit on the run into turn number 1. But on the brakes, getting the back end just kicking out a little bit, just enough to kind of help turn the bike into the apex of turn 1. And we do get through there nicely. Turn 2, not quite as good, exactly like what we did on the first run of the qualifying run at the end of practice. So a little bit annoying there. We missed the apex and cost ourselves a little bit of time. And then again, making a mistake at turn 9 as well. So giving up a time in places that we don't really need to be. But having said that, we are only 2/10 of a second adrift of Jose Antonio Rueda, who holds provisional pole position at this moment in time, at 43.738 for the KTM rider. But through the final sector we go. We don't use all the road at turn 12 there at Ferrari, so there's definitely a little bit of time to find across the whole lap really, with a mistake at turn 2, mistake at turn 9, and then not quite using all the road on the exit of turn 12, and really on the exit of turn 13 there as well at the final corner. So across the line, the first banker lap puts us up into P11, only 3/10 adrift though from Rueda, so we dropped a little bit of time at the end of that lap. But as we skip on to what will be our final lap of the session, the checkered flag will be out at the end of this flying lap. We've got our teammate Nicolo Caro ahead of us to chase, and he's actually quite a good distance away. He's not close enough at all to give us a slipstream, but he is enough for us to chase and have a bit of a marker through the final sector and pick up a little bit of slipstream through the fast right-handers. So that's the target. We missed the apex again at turn 2, but we did pull it back a little bit better for the exit of the corner, just to get the power down and try and carry the speed through these 2 left-handers. But we are just about matching the time from ourselves. We picked up a little bit of time at the end of the first sector, held that through the second sector. We lost it though through the third, but we do pick up time through the 2 right-handers of turn 9 and turn 10, because we managed to obviously hit the apex. We missed the apex last time out, and there's obviously still time to find through this sector as well. But we rush in a little bit into turn 11, turn 12. Let's see if we use a little bit more exit road. We do, up onto the exit curb. 3/10 of a second under at the minute, but it's Alvaro Carpe who currently tops the session at 43.5. He's jumped up to the top, and he's got 2/10 really over Rueda in second. So across the line we go. It's not going to be pole position, but it is going to be second place in the middle of the front row for us, and we knock Rueda to third, Kelso fourth, Foggia 5th, Pini and Jerez through to Q2 from Q1. They go 6th and 7th, Lunetta 8th, Ogden 9th, and Bertele rounding out the top 10 in Q2. So that's the order then for race time at the Spanish Grand Prix. So, as we head into the Spanish Grand Prix, unfortunately, as I sat down to edit this episode, I found out that despite watching the race back, the video file corrupted. It won't let me drag it in. So, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately for this episode, we do have replay cameras to tell the story of the Spanish Grand Prix. So, lights out and away we go. It's not the best start because we've been passed by Kelso, Pini, Bertele's on the inside as well, but we're going to be later on the brakes, try and hang it round the outside, but Pini's going to have his Dynavolt bike on the inside at turn 2, but we managed to get late on the brakes, round the outside of Kelso, round the outside of Pini, and slot ourselves into P3. There's riders running wide there in the background. That looks like Rollstone, somebody I think has gone down in the background as well, but there's already a gap formed between Ogden and the chasing pack, so there's already a bit of a group forming at the after 4 corners. We've already got a group of about 10 or 11 riders, but on the inside of Pini on the exit of turn 5, and we are back into P3, but there's already a gap forming ahead as Rueda and Foggia escape at the front. But this is what happened on lap number 1. There was indeed a crash, and it was the teammate of Pini who's gone down, David Munoz, getting wiped out of the race, and he is unfortunately over and done with the Spanish Grand Prix before it really began. Just 2 corners for the Spaniard. But as we skip on to later on in lap number 1, we're still under pressure from Pini, who in turn is under pressure from Kelso, and this is going to be a big move from Joel Kelso up the inside of turn number 12, and Bertele is trying to get in the mix as well, as is Tayo Furusato, who's made a good start from 11th on the grid. He's up into what will be P6, I think, as he goes round the outside of Pini, and he is through and into P6 behind Bertele, Kelso, myself, and then it's Foggia out front who leads Antonio Rueda. But on the brakes into turn number 1, get very, very close to the back of the KTM rider. But as we head into turn 2, it's going to be a move from Rueda up the inside of the Aspar bike of Dennis Foggia, and into the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix goes the home hero, Jose Antonio Rueda, but his teammate behind has gone down. Joel Kelso's crashed out of 4th place. He hit too much inside curb on the first left-hander, and he's crashed, and he is out of the race. So the man who was battling at the front of the opening round in Thailand with Rueda is out of the race, and we are right on the back of Jose and Foggia as we look to try and make a move on the way into Danny Pedrosa corner, turn number 6. At the end of this back straight, we're going to be late on the brakes. Around the outside, there's contact as Foggia moves over to give Rueda the space, and we get pushed up right up high on the entry curb, and we do maintain 3rd position. No way through on Foggia or Rueda, and at the minute we've got to settle for 3rd place, but it looks like Bertele there in 4th, who is going to be piling the pressure on now. He might have a little bit of a sniff and a little bit of eagerness about his work to try and get through after we might be a bit flustered really after getting put up on the curb by Foggia, but no way through for him as we skip on to lap number 3 of the Spanish Grand Prix. We're still holding 3rd place, and here comes another similar move to what Kelso did earlier in the race as Furusato goes through on Bertele. We ran wide on the exit of turn 12, so that's a track limits warning for sure. We're not sure on how many that we've got in the race because obviously we don't have the actual race footage as it's all going on behind. Rolston, Fernandez, Noah Detweiler in there as well on the 2nd CIP bike. Scott Ogden, by the way, he's still in this leading group. He's currently just behind Luca Lunetta on the 2nd Aspar bike and is right in the mix there as well. So Ogden having a good ride on the CIP KTM bike, but meanwhile it's still going on at the front as Foggia and Rueda still battling hard, and it is getting a little bit cloudy, I can see, overhead, so we've got to keep one eye on the sky as we jump on board with ourselves. You can see those clouds that I'm on about just gathering overhead, so I don't know if there's a chance of rain as we run wide again on the exit of turn 5. We've done that quite a few times, and that's going to leave us under pressure from Tayo Furusato and Bertele, who gets the slipstream. Bertele a bit earlier on the brakes. We go around the outside and maintain 3rd position. No way through for Furusato, but he's going to give it a go on the exit. But again, we just get the power down and we maintain 3rd place. And actually, that just pushed Furusato a little bit wide that might allow Bertele through, but no, it is as you were with Rueda leading. Foggia 2nd, and Furusato, well, he found a gap there. He goes flying through on the inside, and that now puts us under pressure from Bertele behind. But look at that, Foggia trying to get through on Rueda. I don't know if he's got the move done. They're still side by side up in front, and Foggia does take the lead off Rueda. So these two are going to be battling till the very, very end, I think, here in Jerez. But meanwhile, we've got to try and get back through on Furusato because there is a few spots of rain in the air, and obviously if there's a red flag that comes out soon, we want to be at the front, and we go for a big move up the inside of not just Furusato but Rueda and Foggia as well, and Foggia gets dragged very, very wide, unfortunately, for the Italian. So I do have to apologise for that because that wasn't quite my intention, but Foggia is still there in the mix in P4. We're trying to go round the outside of Rueda into turn number 1. We're going to be second through the first corner, slotting in behind Rueda, and Foggia, I think, back up into P3 behind us. So Foggia rescuing that little bit of mistake on our part that pushed us both wide. He's battling side by side with Furusato, and in fact he goes round the outside of us at turn number 4. What a move from Dennis Foggia. He means business here on lap number 5, but he can't quite get it done as we cut over his nose at the entrance of Sito Pond's corner. But look at this, everybody's squabbling for position, everybody's got the urgency now. There's a little bit of rain in the air as we jump on board with us. Foggia was coming at us. We're going to try and go around the outside of Rueda. We are quite strong on the brakes into turn number 6. We go across the nose, but we have to give him a little bit of room because he was there on the inside, and that's going to allow Foggia through as well. So frustratingly, we get the move half done on Rueda and end up losing the position to Foggia as well, and it is back to as you were earlier on in this race with Rueda and Foggia out front. We're in third, and we've got Furusato, Pini and Bertelli battling behind us. But as we skip on to lap number 6 now, we go for a huge move up the inside of Foggia. We were quite far back there really, and we get up the inside of Foggia, but we haven't got the move done yet. It's side by side through turn number 2. We do get through, and you can now see the rain really starting to fall, so there is a bit of urgency now to try and get to the front, because if there's a red flag, I would like to be leading at the point where we will get kind of pushed back to, whether that's the last sector or the latest lap conclusion. So we would like to be at the front, but Foggia is not giving up. He's got the same idea, so everybody is now leaving everything on the line as this circuit of Jerez just gets wetter and wetter. Around the outside of Foggia, there's contact between the two of us as we both go for the same piece of tarmac. That pushes us wide. Furusato's eyes are going to be now lit up as he could smell a third place here, but we do just about hang on to the 658 rider, and we do maintain third, but not for long because Furusato's through at turn 9. We're going to get a switchback on him though, and we do take that position back. So it's getting aggressive now. Everybody wants to make moves forward because if the red flag comes out, everybody wants to be as high up as they can at this moment in time. The two level up MTA bikes, it looks like Bertelli is actually slipped behind his teammate as well. I think it's Alvaro Carpe. I might be wrong. I can't quite remember all the transfers that have been made. I think it's Carpe up into what will be P5 now and defending from his teammate into the final corner. He's trying to get a sniff at Furusato as well, but there's no way through for him at the moment. You've still got Ogden in there. He's made up a move on Pini. Then you've got Lunetta in there as well. But as we start lap number 7, the penultimate lap of this 8-lap Spanish Grand Prix, Rueda leads, Foggia second, we're still third, and you can see all the Moto3 bikes streaming away through turn 1. But as we head through turn number 2, the rain's still falling away. It's Rueda leading, Foggia second, we're in third position, and there's a red flag. The red flag has gone out, and that is going to be the end of the Spanish Grand Prix on lap number 7. We aren't going to get the full 8 laps. The red flag has gone out, and it is going to be third position for us here in Jerez. It's Rueda who will get the win. Foggia second. We come home in third. Furusato, Quiles it was, not Alvaro Carpe. My apologies for that. He rounds out the top 5. Bertelli in P6. But with the crash of Kelso, the crash of Munoz, we do maintain the lead of the championship, albeit cut down to 4 points over Jose Antonio Rueda. Foggia still there as well in the fight, and Stefano Nepa is the only rider yet to score a point in this season. But for us, it's another third position at the Spanish Grand Prix. It's not a win. That victory, or at least a second position, still eludes us here in this Moto3 career mode. One day we will get it, I'm pretty sure. It's coming. We're in the mix all the time. We just can't quite get the job done in the closing stages of a race. But it is third position. It's another podium. It's our third of the season to go along with Argentina and the American Grand Prix. But yeah, we'll take that here in Jerez. Now we've got to choose our path. We've got to choose a new rival, and I think it's only fitting that we go for one of our championship challengers, Dennis Foggia, on the Aspar bike for that one. So track engineer time to debrief. We've got to look at this. We're going to go for, I think, the frame and go back to what we kind of started, because we struggled a little bit changing direction and some of the faster long corners just to hold the line a little bit. So we're going to go for the frame, see what we can do to that, and see if we can try and just make the bike a little bit easier through some of the corners where we were losing time compared to the AI, like turn 9 and 10, the big move from Furusato at turn 7 earlier in the race as well. So a few little areas that we need to improve as a team and as a package going into the French Grand Prix next time out. But look at the other standings. Manu Gonzalez leading the way for the Intact team, and Marc Marquez leading Pecco Bagnaia, Alex Marquez, Fabio Di Gianantonio in an all Ducati top 4, and Quartararo up in 5th position on the Monster Energy Yamaha. But there we go, that is the Spanish Grand Prix and round number 5 of the MotoGP career mode. If you guys enjoyed, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and I'll see you next time in Le Mans for round number 6. So until then, thank you for watching and goodbye.